way to Julia's house for a study sesh when out of nowhere, I found myself flying onto the ground. I was so stunned, I didn't even see the ball that had hit me, or the fact there was a cute guy rushing over to check if I was okay. I'd scraped my hand pretty badly, but I almost didn't mind because now I was face to face with a gorgeous guy. In fact, I was so busy staring at him and blushing that I didn't even notice Julia marching towards us.
What are you two doing?
Turns out the cute guy was Callum, Julia's boyfriend. Of course, every nice thing is always hers. I'm Jenny, by the way, and that lucky girl is Julia. She's the daughter of the richest guy in town, Mr. Walsh. We're supposed to be friends, but we honestly have nothing in common. I mean, my family is pretty poor. It's not our fault, though. My dad sadly passed away, and so it's just me and my mom trying to make ends meet. Julia, on the other hand, has a silver spoon shoved down her throat. But fate still brought us together. I know it's kind of wrong, but that night, I couldn't stop thinking about Callum. He now, in fact, gave me motivation for the next study session with bossy Julia, as maybe he would be there again. I even put on makeup and skipping on the way to her house the next day. But, well, it was all for nothing because Callum was nowhere to be seen. Instead, I had to sit and listen to Julia go on and on about her trip to Paris. I pretended that I was okay, but actually, I'd always dreamed of visiting the City of Light and gazing up at the Eiffel Tower ever since watching Emily in Paris. Dream on, Jenny! Anyway, Julia was incessant. She loved making me look like a fool, and even said,
Aw, poor Jenny. Maybe one day you'll get to go to Paris, but until then, you can just look at all my photos.
Last year, around my birthday, she'd even shown me a fashion magazine and asked me which dress I liked best. I thought she was buying gifts for me, but instead, she showed up at my party in the exact dress I pointed out. I couldn't believe it. She just winked at me and laughed, and I seriously wanted to scream at her. Anyway, after looking at about 1 billion Paris pics, Mr. Walsh appeared. He looked happy to see us sitting so close and studying together. If only he knew the truth, but I had to pretend. I had a lot of fun with Julia and helping her study, at least for his sake. Mr. Walsh was a good friend of our family, and ever since my dad passed away, he'd been looking out for me and was even paying my school fees. I couldn't let him down. But you know what? I actually started to get excited to go over to Julia's now, as the thought of bumping into Callum again gave me butterflies. I even got myself a new hairstyle. But he was never there, and I always left feeling disappointed. Then one time after school, it started to rain dogs and cats and I had to run for it. Then suddenly, I felt an umbrella over my head. Guess what it was? Callum, coming to the rescue. It was like something out of a romantic movie. He even offered me a lift home. My heart was racing so hard. I was afraid he'd hear it. I just sat there in silence, dripping rain all over his clean car. I even caught him looking over at me a few times, and my heart felt like it was going to leap out of my chest. He pulled up at my house, so I was about to get out when he touched my arm and said,
"Can I get your number?"
I was confused. I mean, wasn't he Julia's boyfriend? He then explained that he was just hired to be her fake boyfriend so that all the flirty boys would get out of her way. Wow! I couldn't believe it. He asked me to keep it a secret as Julia would end us both if this story got out. Okay, it all made sense now. That's why he never came over to her house. I felt so happy. Over the next few days, Callum and I chatted a lot on the phone, and then eventually, he asked me out on a date. We were having so much fun, and then a familiar voice pierced the air.
Well, well, well. Isn't that my dear friend Jenny?
I felt dread rush through my whole body. Callum dropped my hand and rushed to Julia's side.
It was all her, babe. You gotta see the messages she sent. She's been flirting with me for weeks. It's pathetic.
Whoa! Was he for real? A second ago he was about to lean in for a kiss, and now he was bad-mouthing me. How could he be so two-faced? I tried to explain to Julia, but she wouldn't listen. She just called me a traitor in front of everyone and told all her friends to lock up their boyfriends in case I try it on with one of theirs next. I was devastated. Everyone was staring at me and judging me. If only I could vanish into thin air right now. And as I was thinking about where I could escape to, a guy appeared, grabbed my wrist, and pulled me away. It was Stefan, the guy who lived across the road from me. I didn't understand why he helped me, but I was so grateful that he did. He walked me home and tried to cheer me up by saying how his mom used to love our bakery so much, and that the carrot cake my mom made was his mom's fave. This made me smile, thinking back on all those happy times in our family bakery. When my dad had died, we'd had to sell it to pay off some debt, and life had become quite difficult. Luckily, Mr. Walsh was helping out, but after what just happened with Julia, I wasn't sure I'd be able to face him. The next day at school, everyone was staring at me. I couldn't even find a place to sit at lunch. What had I done? I'd ruined everything, and then it got worse. My phone beeped. It was Mr. Walsh. He said he was so disappointed in me, and that I no longer needed to come and tutor his daughter. I wanted to cry, and at the same time, I felt so much relief. But then I read on, and he said,
I'm sorry, but I can't keep my promise anymore. I'll continue to subsidize your school fees, but you'll have to figure something out for college. Good luck.
My heart plummeted. Not only had I been shunned by everyone at school and backstabbed by Callum, but now the door to college was being slammed in my face, too. I felt so sick. I just walked out of the canteen and went home. I didn't dare go to school over the next few days. I was miserable, and just when I'd given up all hope, there was a knock at my door. It was Callum. He said he was sorry for what had happened, and that he missed me so much. Then he asked me if I'd be interested in being his secret girlfriend. I was so angry. I wanted to slam the door in his face. At that exact moment, Stefan happened to walk past. Seeing me standing there with Callum, his face changed, and he immediately walked away. Oh no! I definitely couldn't let him misunderstand anything about me anymore. I chased after Stefan. I finally caught up with him and blurted out how I've been feeling. Like the whole world was against me, and that I didn't know what to do. He told me to calm down. Then we went to sit on a bench in the park as he let me confide everything in him. By the time I finished talking, I was on the verge of tears. Then he said,
Listen, Jenny, you're better than this. Don't dim to fit in with those people at your school. Good people will see you for the real you. You're strong, and you can get through anything. I know you can.
He was right. I didn't need to sink as low as Julia and her friends, and I certainly didn't need to rely on Mr. Walsh's money. So I applied for a part-time job at a coffee shop. Earning my own money felt so good. Suddenly, I felt free, and I knew everything was going to be okay. But then one day, when I was working, Julia and her gang came in. They still weren't over what happened, and in front of everyone, they brought up what I'd done to humiliate me. And they even recorded it, and I couldn't stop shaking. This was too much. That's when I threw a cup of coffee all over Julia and ran out of there. Julia shouted after me that she was going to tell my mom everything I'd done. Without a doubt, Julia really did it. She even sent my mom photos of me and Callum at the fair. And, well, my mom didn't take it well. I rushed home to try and explain after Mom yelled at me over the phone. But then I couldn't find Mom anywhere. I called her phone and a man answered. He said my mom was in a hospital after she fainted. I got to the hospital immediately and found out that she had collapsed from shock, but thankfully, she was okay. She had to stay in the rest of the day to be monitored, so I went to get us both a cup of coffee. That's when I saw him, Callum. He was in the ward next door sitting with some girl. I almost dropped the coffee out of shock. They looked close. I waited until he'd left, and then I went to ask the girl if Callum was her boyfriend. Well, turns out they'd been dating for 2 years already, so he was triple cheating. The girl deserved to know the truth, so I took a deep breath and told her everything. She was so upset, we decided to get our own back. So the girl called Callum and asked him to come back. As soon as he arrived, we confronted him and got the truth once and for all. He was hired by Julia to pretend to date me and ruin my life. Apparently, she was jealous of how much attention her dad gave me since my dad had died, and that her dad constantly compared her to me. He kept apologizing to his girlfriend, saying how much he loved her, and that he only agreed to help Julia so that he could earn some money to help pay for her medical bills. I was stunned. Callum was so apologetic and said he'd come clean about everything. He posted it on the school forum to clear my name and to everyone to see the ugly truth about Julia. And of course, when Mr. Walsh saw it, he made her come and apologize to me. And he also apologized himself and offered to pay my college fees again. Do you think I accepted his offer? Of course not. I was standing on my own feet now, and there was no going back. I didn't need anyone's help. So you might be wondering how I could afford college. Surely not on my coffee shop salary. Right! Well, after graduating high school, I realized how much I missed the bakery. That was where I truly felt happy. So I decided to study to become a pastry chef. And now my mom and I have opened a new bakery. I've never been happier. And there's one last thing I want to share. Oh, in fact, here he is.
Hey, Stefan, I've made your mom's fave. Let's go surprise her.
I couldn't stop smiling as Stefan took the carrot cake, kissed my cheek, and we headed for his car. Life is so much more simple now and sweet, and I love it. Hi, my name is Lily. Before I tell you my story, please like and subscribe. Before I was born, there were 2 things my parents loved more than anything in the world: their restaurant and their yacht, both named Ella. And that didn't change after I was born either. But soon after, their restaurant wasn't doing so well. When Dad knew Mom was pregnant with me, he said,
"It's so expensive to raise a baby, we'll have to sell something." This child is already bad luck.
Ultimately, they sold their precious boat, and they never stopped crying about it.
Oh, if only we didn't have Lily and had Ella with us right now. We'd be having breakfast at sea.
And I'd be sunbathing on the deck having a child. Just ruins everything.
They never celebrated my birthday, but when I was turning 5, they decided to have a party and called all their friends. When I ran to the table excitedly to look for the cake, I felt confused. Why does this say Happy Birthday, Mom? Because I gave birth to you on this day? What did you have to do? Nothing. It was a really boring party because there were no presents for me, and nobody was paying me any attention. Instead, they all wanted to talk about their fancy new yachts. My parents were so embarrassed because they didn't have anything to talk about. Later that evening, Dad said to me,
I wish we'd put you up for sale instead of my boat.
that same year, my little sister was born, and on the same day, Dad unexpectedly found an oyster washed up on the beach with a rare gray pearl inside. He sold it for $50,000, and the money really helped them make things better at the restaurant.
Yeah, what a blessing this baby girl has been for us. She's brought us such good fortune.
And because of that, my parents decided to name her Ella. Like everything else, they truly loved.
We love you so much, Ella. We tried with Lily, but it's easier to love you because you're just so perfect.
They made me do all the chores around the house while they drooled over the new baby. I even had to change her stinky diapers because both my parents refused to. After a few weeks, they got really busy at the restaurant, and I was left in charge of Ella most of the time. I'd feed her, bathe her, rock her to sleep. I started teaching her my name.
Lily.
I'd point to myself. Ella would just look at me, and then she'd laugh and clap her little baby hands. But things changed forever when Ella turned 1. My parents came home from work one night, and Mom started yelling at me for not having dinner ready. You own a restaurant? Can't you just eat there?
We sell that. Food, you moron. What should I expect from someone as stupid as you? I guess we'll just go eat out somewhere. Come on, Ella.
But Ella didn't want to move. She slapped my mom's hand away and started to cry with her little toddler finger. She pointed at me.
Lily.
My parents looked shocked. Ella had just said her first word, and it was my name.
Lily. Lily. Lily.
What have you been teaching her?
Mom was so mad that Ella's first words weren't, I love you, Mom and Dad, and I hate Lily. Dad picked her up, but Ella kept kicking and screaming for me.
Fine, we'll bring your stupid sister.
I walked out with them, and Ella stopped crying. She smiled at me, and I smiled back. After that, Ella always had my back, and I always had hers. When I was in the 3rd grade, my parents took Ella to a boat show. They left me behind to clean the house. Of course, when they got home, Ella ran to me and gave me a present. I was so touched.
I love you, Lily.
It was a little red toy boat. I hugged her tight. When Ella turned 4, she had a phase where she wouldn't eat anything except hot dogs and ketchup. Her favorite part was when I squirted ketchup all over the hot dogs. Ready, Ella? Ketchup party. The funny fart noise the bottle made always made her laugh like crazy. When summer break was over and I went back to school, my parents had to hire a babysitter for Ella. One day when I got back, I could hear screams from one of the rooms. Just then, Ella came running out, holding a ketchup bottle and squirting it everywhere.
Yeah, ketchup party.
Behind her, the babysitter came out drenched in ketchup from head to toe.
That's it, I quit.
Just as she was storming off, my parents walked in looking horrified at the mess.
What on earth is Ella doing? Did you teach her this?
No, I did not teach her to spray ketchup all over the house. Mom caught Ella and snatched the bottle from her, glaring at me.
I don't know how, but this is all your fault. Clean this up right now and stop poisoning our little Ella's mind.
Just as she was dragging Ella to the bathroom, she slipped on some ketchup and fell on the floor. Angry as I was that I had to clean up everything, that made me feel a little bit better. When I was old enough, my parents made me work at their restaurant. I thought it would actually be fun waiting on tables and meeting new people. But what was I thinking? They just handed me an apron and rubber gloves.
You'll be washing the dishes.
When I asked them to pay me, Dad glared at me.
We already pay you by giving you a bed at night and a roof over your head. Don't be so greedy.
To make matters worse, they'd make me pay for any food I ate there. But I became friends with the head chef, and I'd eat the food he gave me secretly in the back alley. One time, he came out to hand me a bowl of mac and cheese, And just then, we heard someone coming and he dove behind the garbage can. It was Dad.
Where did you get that, Lily?
I took it out from the garbage. Do you want some? He looked absolutely disgusted and was about to walk off when he spotted the chef.
I knew it was you, thief. You're fired.
Of course, a few years later, when Ella started working at the restaurant, Mom and Dad got her the cutest uniform and let her greet the guests as they walked in. The restaurant is named after her. She should be the face of it. No, you named her after the restaurant and your stupid boat.
Oh, my boat. Every time I look at you, I miss that boat. Now get back to work.
Of course, Ella could order anything off the menu, but she still always had my back and she'd sneak me half her meal. One night when I was eating lasagna at the back of the kitchen, Dad suddenly walked in and he accused me of stealing. As he snatched my plate away, Ella came running in.
She works hard and she deserves it.
No, she doesn't, Ella. You work hard for your meals, not your ungrateful sister.
That was the final straw. I was done being insulted by them. The next night was one of the busiest ever, and the kitchen was chaotic. I had Dad screaming at me every 5 minutes.
Lily, hurry up. We need clean dishes.
I stopped cleaning them and just gave the dirty ones. Once back to the chefs, they were so busy they didn't notice, and the fresh food went out on filthy dishes. One even had a used napkin on it. The customers were so grossed out, a lot of them left without paying. A food critic was at the restaurant that night, and he threw down his napkin as he screamed,
"This is an insult. This would never happen in France."
and he stormed off with my parents following him and saying sorry again and again. Of course, he wrote a horrible review. Ella and I found it really, really funny though. We would burst into laughter every time we read it. Ella is the most disgusting restaurant on earth. Eat your meal from Ella or straight out of the trash can. Same difference. The reviews were so bad that customers stopped coming altogether. Eventually, my parents were forced to sell the restaurant.
I hope you're happy now. We can't send your sister to college.
What are we going to do for money now, Lily? Did you think about that?
Think of all the people who lost their jobs. You should feel awful.
But no one lost their jobs, Dad. Everyone got rehired by the new owner. In fact, I'm also still working there, and I got a raise. I skipped off before Dad exploded. I knew I wanted to go to college, and living by the sea had always made me want to study marine biology. I got a loan, worked part-time, and put myself through college. I graduated at the top of my class and got a research job. I would spend days at a time out on the water, and I loved it. With the money I'd saved up from work, I eventually bought a cute sailboat. I could see my parents turning green with envy. I offered to take them around for a spin, but they refused to go with me. When Ella hopped onto the boat excitedly, she asked,
Have you named it yet?
"No, but what do you think about the Lily Ella?" Her face lit up.
I really like that.
And just like that, the Lily Ella set sail for the first time. A few days later, Ella came to me with a poster.
Yeah, we should enter this contest.
It was a sailboat race coming up in a few weeks, and there was a grand prize of $100,000. You think we can win?
I know we can.
As we were practicing one day, I was shocked to see my parents had a sailboat too. Dad yelled out to us,
Guess what? We entered the contest too. I borrowed the boat from a friend.
"But why?"
Oh, he thought it would be fun to beat you. We spent years on the water before you were born, Lily. You'll never win against us.
It was the morning of the race, and Ella and I were getting everything ready when we noticed that something very important was missing. Our sails. How are we going to race without them? The race started, and everyone got off to a huge head start. I could see my parents pointing and laughing at us from the water.
Good luck without your sails, Lily Ella.
Of course they'd sabotaged us. Just then, Ella came panting behind me, dragging some disgusting sails.
I found them in the garbage. They smell so gross.
We set them up, caught a big gust of wind, and took off. We were pretty far behind the other racers, but Annabella was a speedy little thing, and we'd been practicing a lot. We quickly caught up to the rest of the pack, but our parents had a big lead. The finish line was fast approaching. We'll never catch them.
We're too heavy.
I turned to see Ella strapping on a life jacket. "What are you doing?"
Win this race, Lily, for me.
And with that, she jumped over the side. I knew she could swim like a mermaid, so I wasn't too worried about her. I immediately picked up speed after she jumped off. I turned around to glance at her once, and she yelled at me.
Ketchup party?
What was she talking about? I was right behind my parents' boat, and the finish line was only 200 yards away. That's when I saw a big squirt bottle of ketchup on the floor of the boat.
You'll never catch us, Lily. You'll always be a loser.
It's time for a ketchup party. And with that, I got close enough and aimed it straight at Dad's face. He couldn't see anything, and his boat ended up getting stuck between two rocks. I could hear Mom and Dad yelling, but I went even faster and crossed the finish line. Ella ran up to me and gave me a huge hug.
We won.
We won?
We are rich.
A few weeks later, the Liliella and its victory was trending on the internet. We were invited to race all over the world. Eventually, we bought a bigger boat with our winnings, and even though my parents had always been so mean to me, I bought them a boat too, to make up for the one they'd sold all those years ago. And I keep the red toy boat Ella got me as a present, right by the wheel at all times.
Hey friends, I'm Nora from Atlanta. Please like and subscribe to Eve for amazing stories. I was born just a minute after my twin sister, Suki. She was my twin, but we were nothing alike. We didn't even look like we were sisters at all. Suki, with her long golden locks and blue eyes, seemed like a Barbie doll. As for me, I might have looked like a Cabbage Patch doll. There's a saying that families are like fudge, mostly sweet, but Suki is absolutely crazy. All she ever wanted to do was have fun, and she was born with a really short fuse. Like one time, Mom and Dad took us to a restaurant, and Suki thought it would be fun to squeeze the ketchup bottle at people. Thank God I was safe, but not for long.
Hey Nora, would you like some ketchup?
Saying that, Suki squeezed the bottle so hard, instead of being angry, my parents were laughing.
Suki, you sure know how to have fun?
Yes, you are so naughty, but Mama loves you.
I wasn't surprised when the waiter tried to stop her. She went ballistic, and eventually we were kicked out of the place and banned from ever coming back. Even when we would have exams, Suki would never take study seriously, but still somehow managed to pass. But that wasn't for long. When we reached 10th grade, she failed and had to repeat the class. I wasn't happy that she flunked, but I wasn't sad either. I got to enter 11th grade without Suki, and it was awesome. I was finally my own person and no longer the sister of the most gorgeous and hot-tempered girl at school. I focused really hard on studies and aced every exam, and soon was top of my class. I had my life goal set. I needed to be the best and get that one scholarship to my fave university that was offered to her school. While my parents were happy that I was excelling in my studies, they were even prouder that Suki joined the cheerleading squad. Mom went so insane that she threw a full-fledged party for Suki, wearing her cheerleading uniform from ages ago.
Oh my love, you keep making us proud following your mom's footsteps.
Seeing how everyone was just hovering all around Suki, something inside me flipped. Like seriously celebrating. She joined the cheerleading squad. In case you guys haven't noticed, I aced my 9th standard exams. Okay, fine. I might have overreacted, but I did have a point. Mom and Dad just rolled their eyes and went on to enjoy the party. Well, I felt like I'd get a headache, so I went outside in the garden to catch some air. Feeling frustrated, I kicked the dirt, and that's when I saw a guy.
You idiot. You stupid, stupid idiot.
Huh? What the heck? Hey, watch your mouth. You're standing in my garden calling me an idiot and stupid. How dare? The guy raised his hand, and when he removed his phone from his ear, I felt my cheeks turn red. He wasn't talking to me.
Beautiful, gorgeous. That's what I call you, not idiot and stupid. It was just my friend on the phone.
Who was he? He did look familiar, and then it hit me. It was Dad's friend's son, Ian. Our family used to be super close, but Ian and his family moved to England like 8 years ago. It's you, Ian, the guy who always stole my ice creams.
Yep, it is I. The guy who heard you tell your mom on a beach picnic how bad you needed to scratch your butt because of the sand.
Oh gosh, why did he have to remember that? Once summer vacation ended, I found Ian in my class perfect. As if having Suki in high school wasn't enough, Ian was the most annoying guy ever. First, because he knew so much about my childhood and would keep telling classmates how I used to be a cranky, weird kid. And second, because he was so competitive. He wanted to be number one at everything. He played in the school's soccer team and was also excellent in studies. But I was a tough cookie. I was always one step ahead of Ian, and I wasn't going to let him get my scholarship at all. One day, I was in the library preparing for this really tough advanced math quiz. Just as I was trying to figure out a very difficult equation, someone snatched my notebook. It was Ian.
You're welcome. I was standing behind you, and I just couldn't bear it anymore. If you had paid attention to the prime number theorem, you wouldn't have to find a workaround for this question.
I would have figured it out, but yeah, this way it does seem easy. Well, I guess thanks are in order.
I already said you're welcome.
Saying that, that, Ian sat next to me, and we both started practicing together. After that day, Ian sort of grew on me, and I started to like him. Soon, we became really good friends. We always studied together and made our assignments together. We both wanted the same scholarship and hoped the best one would get it. One fine day, as we were sitting in the cafeteria, Suki came out of nowhere and tried to be a little too sweet with Ian. Thank God he ignored her. But once we were at home, Suki had a full-blown meltdown about it.
Are you just hanging out with him to make me jealous? Like, he is so cool, how can he even talk to you? How dare he ignore me?
I don't know. Maybe because he knows I know what the cube of 2 is, while I guess you don't. Plus, haven't you noticed he isn't into you?
Ugh, nerd? Fine. He is cute, but not that cute.
Saying that, she left in anger. If Ian had chosen me, she had to accept it. But had he chosen me, he was always so charming around me. I would often catch him looking at me, and he'd give me just the cutest smile ever. We'd always sit together and study together in the library. He even walked me home every day, after school too. Every time he'd touch my hand, I felt as if my heart flipped, but we were just friends, nothing more. One day, Ian and I had to meet in the library to discuss an assignment, but he didn't show up. When I went looking for him, I saw him with Suki in the empty hallway. He was holding her hand, and they were super close. I felt gutted, and I ran home and locked myself in my bedroom. Mom and Dad tried to talk to me, but I didn't let anyone in. Later that night, I felt hungry and went to get dinner. That's when I heard Suki talking to one of her friends. I almost ignored it, but the moment she said Ian's name, I lost it and barged into her room. I know what you're doing. Which stay away from Ian. Got it? Is that him on the phone? How could you? Suki?
What the heck? Get out of my room. Nora, stop being a nosy jerk.
Saying that Suki pushed me out of her room. And the entire night I felt so angry. It was my fault. I had been too scared to tell Ian how I felt. I needed to fix this. So the next day, the moment I saw Ian, I dragged him into the library and confronted him about Suki.
What are you even talking about? Nora, I don't know. She was fine in 1 minute and then she fell and I just gave her a hand to help her up, that's all.
Oh, okay. I might have overreacted. No biggie.
Really? And here I was, happy that you might have felt at least a bit jealous, because I feel like that when you talk to another guy.
Oh, you do? And why is that?
Because maybe I'm falling for you?
Me too. Saying that, Ian leaned in and kissed me. The following week, it seemed as if Ian and I were inseparable. I felt like I was on cloud 9. But Suki, gosh, every time she'd see Ian and me together, her face would turn red as a tomato, as if I cared. One night, I was in my room ready to sleep when Suki knocked on the door.
Hey, I was wondering, can we talk?
About whatever it is, make it fast.
Nora, I know I'm the perfect sister, and I guess I steal the spotlight from you a lot of times, but still, I am your sister. And I want to tell you that Ian, well, he isn't exactly the guy you think he is. He's sort of hit on me, and he's using you, Nora. He is.
Oh God, this was a new low for Suki. I knew me being with Ian made her feel jealous, but this was way too much. Without even thinking, I grabbed her arm and shoved her out of the room. Suki, you are not the sun. The world doesn't revolve around you. For once, it's about me. Stay back. I was fuming with anger. The next day, I woke up a little late for school, and when I reached there, I realized something was off. All eyes were on me. A girl told me to go to the gym room, and when I got there, I saw Suki yelling at Ian, and he had a bruise on his eye.
Nora, thank God you're here. Your sister, she is crazy. She asked me to dig. I hate her instead of you, and when I said no, she punched me. She actually came at me. Everyone saw it. It was inches away, and she attacked me.
I would have also kicked you. Nora, this jerk. You know what?
Before Suki could say anything more, I gave her a tight slap. I was so sick of her. What is wrong with you? Why can't you be happy for me? I hate you. Suki, don't ever talk to me again. Before things could escalate, the teachers took Suki to the principal's office, and she got a much-deserved for the stunt she pulled. And finally, for once at home, Mom and Dad grounded her. Though Suki tried to talk to me many times, I totally shut her out. When she returned to school, she was dropped from the cheerleading squad and was always so quiet. The whole stress of Suki and Ian had me so distracted that I wasn't even doing well in studies. I knew I didn't do well in the exams, and I was certain that I'd have to kiss that scholarship goodbye. But when the results for the 12th grade came in, I was stunned to see I had failed. This can't be happening, but how? There must have been some mistake. I went straight to the school. I was going to get my assignments and exam answer sheets tested, but when the teacher informed me that I had not submitted a couple of very important assignments, I felt the earth beneath me shatter, and to my shock, Ian was there with a grin on his face.
Oh my God, the look on your face, it's epic, totally epic. Wait, let me take a picture and show you how fun it was. Nora, you were so easy to fool. I guess all girls are so easy to fool. Give them a bit of attention and they'll lose focus. And you know what? Your sister was onto me. She saw me throw your sorry excuse of an assignment in the bin instead of submitting it, but I played it so well that you didn't believe her.
I felt my ears burn. I was so going to get this butthead, but before I could lunge at him, someone jumped at Ian. It was Suki.
You jerk. My sister deserved that scholarship. You won't go far in life by stepping on others. Karma will bite you in the butt, Ian. I'm going to tell the world what you did.
Good luck proving that.
I had to stop Suki. She had already gotten one suspension because of Ian. Another meant expulsion. Suki, believe it. He's not worth it. It's just a blood-sucking worm. When Ian left, Suki hugged me, and I hugged her back. I was sad for weeks. I felt so depressed and just wanted to stay in my room all the time. The pang of betrayal was falling hard on me, seeing how homebound I was. Mom and Dad took us to a restaurant, the same one we had been banned from. Just as I was going to take a bite from my burger, Suki squeezed the ketchup bottle, and a load of ketchup landed on my face. Suki, you idiot! Wait, I'll get you!
As if you can come on, let's see your aim.
Saying that, I did the same, and in no time our family was acting like the crazy we were. In the end, Dad had to pay for minor damages our family's catch-up fight caused. And guess what? We were banned again, but I didn't care. I felt alive after such a long time, and I knew Suki totally did that on purpose. When the schools opened again, I felt ashamed to go back, but Suki was by my side.
Hey, it's no big deal. I studied 11th grade twice. No worries. Try until you succeed.
She was so right about it. At the start, kids would tease me for repeating the same class, but in a few weeks they forgot about it. Well, I guess my winning streak was broken, because it took me 4 attempts in 12th grade to clear it. But when I did, I got into my favorite university. After graduation, Suki and I opened a restaurant together, and guess what? It had a separate section for kids to go wild. One time, as we were closing up, we saw a homeless man and gave him some food. Just as he looked up at me, I was shocked to see it was none other than Ian. Ian, what happened then? Ian told me how he got into college and how a girl broke his heart, making him go into a depression and lose focus and failed miserably. Even his parents disowned him in the end. I knew it was karma, just like Suki had said many years ago. I gave Ian a few dollars as we both walked towards home. Remember to always be kind. Before the story ends, I want to tell you that mealtime is a time to enjoy food, and we shouldn't disturb others during it. And throwing away someone else's test is not a good thing. We must respect their efforts.